When brilliant engineering creates a truly iconic design, time loses its grip. The U.S. Air Force and Navy have aircraft that prove this, serving for decades, through tech leaps, new strategies, and waves of modern replacements. Some took to the skies during the Cold War, saw the Berlin Wall fall, outlasted presidents, and flew in multiple wars. But who are these timeless sky warriors? First up, the Lockheed U-2, a Cold War icon, flown by both the Air Force and CIA since the 1950s. Though both used it, the CIA led the charge under the codename Dragon Lady, a name that stuck. In 1953, the Air Force sought an aircraft that could hit 70,000 feet, travel 3,000 miles, and stay out of radar reach. Back then, Soviet interceptors maxed out at 54,000 feet, and most radars couldn't see above 65,000 feet. On top of that, the U-2 was fitted with special cameras able to snap images from 60,000 feet with a stunning 2.5-foot resolution. No camera at the time could do that. So Lockheed turned to astronomer James Gilbert Baker and optics expert Richard Scott Perkins to build custom gear. The U-2's maiden flight took off in August 1955 from a dry lakebed in Nevada, known then as Watertown, now better known as Area 51. The site's remoteness and ties to nuclear tests made it perfect for secret ops. The U-2's design was so extreme, test pilots discovered a narrow 6-knot window at high altitudes, nicknamed the coffin corner. Slow down too much, and the engines stall. Speed up too much, and the plane could break apart. But none of that stopped the Dragon Lady. It spied on the Soviets, flew missions over Afghanistan and Iraq, and served NATO with distinction, earning a legendary status alongside the State Route 71 Blackbird. Though the Air Force planned to retire the U-2 in 2014 in favor of the RQ for Global Hawk drone, the Dragon Lady still flies. Why? It carries better sensors, costs less to run, and still outperforms the newer drone. And it's not just scouts making history. The Lockheed C-130 Hercules, the world's most famous military transport, celebrated 50 years of service in the Air Force, and as of 2024, 70 years of production, making it the longest produced military aircraft in history. After the Korean War, many World War II-era piston transports were retired, prompting the U.S. Air Force to call for a new aircraft in 1951. Unlike converted airliners, the C-130 was built from the ground up for combat, with a rear loading ramp and rugged design. A smart move was choosing the Allison T-56 turboprop engines, more fuel-efficient than turbojets, giving the C-130 an impressive range. Sure, it looks clunky next to sleek F-35s, but what it lacks in style, it makes up for in grit. The U-2 wasn't the only spy plane doing work for the CIA. In 1969, a C-130 dropped sensor pallets near China's Lapner nuke test site to gather intel. And back in 1963, a Hercules made history as the biggest and heaviest aircraft ever to land on an aircraft carrier. While the gunship AC-130 has a cult following, especially among Call of Duty fans, the real MVP has always been the cargo-hauling C-130. Over time, it evolved far beyond troop and supply transport. It now supports infantry in combat, and even hunts hurricanes with meteorologists on board. Its max payload? A solid 42,000 pounds. Speaking of utility, the KC-135 Stratotanker deserves a nod. Based on Boeing 707 and 367-80 airliners, it's been fueling the U.S. Air Force mid-air since the 1950s and is set to keep flying into the 2030s. Though originally built to support Strategic Air Command bombers by the late 60s in Southeast Asia, it was boosting fighter and bomber range dramatically. Thanks to in-flight refueling, jets like the F-105, F-4, and B-52 could stay in the fight for hours, not minutes. With a max takeoff weight of 322,500 pounds, the KC-135 can carry up to 200,000 pounds of fuel. Nearly all of it is transferable via a flying boom, operated manually from the rear. Some planes even refuel using a probe that connects to a trailing shuttle. In short, it's like having a flying gas station in your squad. And we can't forget the B-52 Stratofortress. First flown in 1952, This long-range bomber has been a key part of U.S. air power for over 70 years. Originally the straight-wing Model 462 with 6 turboprops, the B-52 evolved into a jet-powered beast with 8 Pratt and Whitney TF-33 engines, weighing up to 480,000 pounds and stretching its combat radius to 8,800 miles. Refueling made the B-52 truly global. In 1957, 3 of them flew non-stop around the world in Operation Powerflight, 45 hours and 19 minutes of uninterrupted flight, proving the U.S. could drop a hydrogen bomb anywhere. In 1962, the B-52H flew 12,532 miles non-stop from Japan to Spain, still a world record. From 1960 to 1968, during the height of the Cold War, B-52s armed with thermonuclear weapons were on constant alert 24/7 near the USSR's northern border as part of Operation Chrome Dome, conducting up to 12 sorties daily from various air bases. A total of 744 B-52s were built in 8 versions, with 76 still in active service, regularly carrying out combat missions. These aircraft are set for a costly and large-scale modernization, including the transition to Rolls-Royce F-130 engines, which will extend their service life into the 2050s. Another iconic American bomber still relevant today is the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II. This versatile fighter combines the roles of an all-weather supersonic jet interceptor and long-range fighter bomber. Developed for the U.S. Navy, the F-4 entered service in 1961, later becoming a key part of the U.S. Air Force and Marine Corps. The F-4's impressive versatility is matched by its production. 5,195 units were built, making it the most produced American supersonic military aircraft. It was widely used during the Vietnam War, first as an air superiority fighter, then as a ground attack and reconnaissance aircraft, and became the first U.S. Air Force plane to use both air-to-air and air-to-ground weapons. Initially lacking an internal cannon, it received the M61 Vulcan in later modifications. Just 31 months after its maiden flight, the F-4 set 16 world records for speed, altitude, and climb rate. The Phantom continued service into the 1991 Gulf War, where it performed reconnaissance and suppression of enemy defenses before being replaced by newer models. The F-15 Eagle, a McDonnell Douglas all-weather fighter, first flew in 1972 and entered service in 1976. Despite initial concerns about its size and weight, the F-15 became one of the most successful modern fighters, with 100 victories and no losses in combat. Over 1,600 units were built, and less than 2 are lost per 100,000 flight hours, including those due to pilot error. More than 220 F-15s are still active with the U.S. Air Force, and the modification of 102 F-15EX Eagle II units is underway. With a top speed of Mach 2.5, the F-15 can reach 65,000 feet in 122 seconds and remains one of the fastest aircraft, outperforming even the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II. It also became a platform for anti-satellite missiles in the 2000s. While the F-22 was meant to replace the F-15, delays in purchasing led to the F-15EX modifications. Next, we have the iconic A-10 Thunderbolt II, or Warthog, built for close air support. Equipped with the powerful GAU-8 Avenger cannon, the A-10 is designed to destroy tanks and armored vehicles. With 1,200 pounds of titanium armor and the ability to withstand enemy fire, it's a durable asset. The A-10's resilience was shown in the 2003 Iraq invasion when Captain Kim Campbell flew a damaged Warthog for over an hour and safely landed it. Despite retirement discussions, the A-10 is expected to remain in service until at least 2029. What other legendary aircraft should we mention? Let us know in the comments.